We are only 3 episodes away from the conclusion of Better Call Saul. After last night's episode, we have a lot to talk about, but before we get started, welcome to the channel. This is my first video. Hello. This isn't my first ever video. I have another channel called Imlilessay. You can see where I get the name from for this channel, but this channel is going to just be me talking about anything I want to, so I just want to do a quick introduction for anyone that is new. Make sure to comment and like, and let's get into it. Episode 10 was the first episode to break the theme of the episode titles. All the episodes beforehand had "and" in their title, like Rock in the Hard Place, Point and Shoot, things like that. This one is just called Nippy. Maybe because this is not in the Better Call Saul timeline. This is really in the Gene timeline that they decided to just, have it as one word. Before we start, I just want to say this episode is getting very mixed reactions from people. And I can understand to a certain extent, but personally, I think it's a pretty good episode. At first, I didn't really enjoy it as much as I do now. But after watching it the second time for this video, I actually do really mess with it. I feel like people were expecting something completely else than what we got. Like me, I thought Walter and Jesse was going to be in this episode, but it turned out being a full Gene episode. A lot of people knew this episode was coming, but we didn't expect it to be episode 10. But after I really think about it, it does make sense for it to be episode 10 because of what just happened last episode with Kim. And he has a little speech at the end that mentions Kim. But anyways, let's get into it. This episode starts with revealing who Carol Burnett is playing in this episode. We see her in one of the wheelchairs. I don't know what those things are actually called, but like you can see it on the screen. We see her in the grocery store and nothing really happens in the store except for revealing the character itself. So then we see her go home and she gets stuck on the sidewalk on the way home due to the snow. She made this comment saying it wasn't like this when I came here before. So I assume it's telling us that Gene did set it up and knew her path that she was going to take and then put the snow there so she couldn't get past it. We then see Gene putting up a lost dog poster on the tree right in front of Marion. He then sees the poster and then asks him what happened to Nippy, which is the name of the episode and the dog on the poster. He makes up this whole elaborate story about how the dog jumped out the car when he had the windows up. He offers to push her out the snow and she accepts. He then goes in the back and cuts one of the wire while putting the chair in neutral so that she can no longer move after the push. After he pushes her out of the snow, she finds out that she can't even move. She looks at Gene after noticing that it won't start, and it cuts to a shot of Gene pushing Marion all the way home. The intro plays right after and we see a brand new opening. It's the normal one we've always had, but it seems like the tape randomly just stops and records over itself, as you can see on the top left. If you haven't noticed, every new season of the show, the quality of the tape gets worse and worse, showing that Gene keeps watching it over and over again. This time, since he's finally back to doing his schemes and bringing back his Saul Goodman persona, is now recording over the tape that he has been watching deteriorate after the past 6 seasons. We then see the scene from the teaser we were given when they announced the new Taxi Driver actor, which, in my honest opinion, I really don't know how to feel about the new Taxi actor. I feel like, I don't know if it's just his acting or the way they wrote him, but it really did seem like a brand new character. But it does make sense that we see him in a different light than like before, because before I feel like he had this menacing role because Gene was very, very scared of being outed as Saul Goodman. He didn't want to be, held accountable for the shit he did. We only saw Jeff for like a total of 5 minutes anyway, so I guess we can't really decide that he was like a dangerous character. But the way that it was shot and the music being like used, it really felt like that he would be a lot less of, I guess, a mama's boy. I guess a lot less of a dude that is just, he's not really like that. We thought that he was about it, but it seems like he's not about it. I don't know. It just felt a little off to me. Maybe it just wasn't the actor, and maybe it's just the way they wrote him. Maybe this was on purpose. Let me know in the comment section what y'all think about the new Jeff. Anyways, we see Jeff get out of the taxi, go into the house, and find out that Marion, aka the lady that Saul helped, was actually Jeff's mother. I genuinely thought that she was going to be the judge or even Kim's mom, but obviously I was completely wrong. This also shows that Jeff and Kim have absolutely nothing to do with each other. That air freshener theory that was going around really made sense to me. I feel like they could have done any other air freshener for real. Like, why does he have to be like from Albuquerque? I guess it would make sense because he You know, he notices Saul, but I thought it would just be like a hint showing that these two are connected in some way. And maybe we haven't seen the last of this story, but it really seems like that Kim and Jeff are not related or even close to anything together in this story. Anyway, Jeff walks in the room and sees Gene sitting down with his mother having a drink and conversating. He is then told by his mother to have a seat and join them. They start talking about how Gene saved the day with Marion. Gene then says that he was told by Jeff's mother that he is a taxi driver. Gene then proceeds to ask him if he's driven anyone famous before, basically teasing him because he knows who Gene really is and his mother does not at all. The mother jumps in and responds, Sammy Hagar, which is actually a callback to the season 5 Gene scene where Jeff is bragging about it.
Hey, you know who I had in my cab once? Sammy Hagar. He's even more famous than you.
The next scene is both Gene and Jeff going to the backyard to throw out the trash, and of course, you know, they got to have their own private conversation about what's going on there. Gene is loving every minute of this and says, you don't have to call me dad yet. Of course, messing with Jeff, trying to get into his head. Jeff then retaliates by saying that Gene can be taken away with one phone call, saying that he is Saul Goodman. Gene then calls his bluff, saying that he would have already called. He also points out that he hasn't tried to get any money out of Gene, proving that he doesn't care about the reward out there for finding Saul Goodman. He has other motives than just money or fame. Gene claims that Jeff wants in the game, which is why he's been so friendly to Gene. He wants to live the criminal life that he saw on TV with Saul Goodman. Gene makes a deal saying that he will show him the game, and after they are done, they will go their separate ways. Next, we see Gene go home and check his secret box he has in his vent. He goes through the box and takes out Marco's ring. If you don't understand the significance of this ring at all, then all you gotta know is that this is basically Jimmy's best friend's ring, and Jimmy's best friend Marco died in the season 1 finale when they were doing their last scam together. He puts the ring on, showing that Slippin' Jimmy is back for one more scam. The next scene starts with a shot showing us that Gene is heating up the Cinnabons while closing up. We then see him taking out the trash with a trash bag in one hand and a bag of Cinnabons in the other. He puts the Cinnabon bag on the floor while he takes out the trash. Gene picks up the bag after taking out the trash and heads straight to the security room. The same cop that was there when he yelled, "Get a lawyer" in earlier Gene scenes, opens the door and remembers him. Gene apologizes for it and the cop responds saying it's a free country. The officer invites Gene in the security room and Gene takes out the Cinnabons that he had carrying there. The officer that was there when Gene screamed, "Get a lawyer," takes his Cinnabon to go and leaves Gene and the other alone. This is actually very important to his scheme because if there was 2 cops there, I don't think it would have gone as he wished. The cop inside puts his Cinnabon on the plate and eats it with a fork. And by the way, before I even continue, who in the hell eats a Cinnabon like that? It is mall food. Why are you putting it on a plate with a fork and knife and cutting it? Maybe I'm the lunatic or maybe he's the lunatic. Either way, if you do that, you are a psycho. I'm sorry. Anyways, the cop starts conversating, asking him about the game last night. Gene has no knowledge at all about football, so he pretends to understand what he's saying while ranting. We see Gene start a timer in the beginning of the conversation to see how long it takes him to finish the Cinnabon. This is important because the cop is not looking at any of the security footage in the mall. After the cop is done eating and looks behind him at the security footage, Gene stops the timer and tells the cops he has to go. After this, a classic Better Call Saul montage begins, and honestly, I really like this one a lot. It's actually up there with one of my favorites. The montage is basically showing him repeat the same steps over and over again, building the relationships with a cop to the point where the cops literally open the door for Gene instead of him knocking. The reason he's doing all this is to record the average amount of time cop is not looking at the footage while eating. But I just want to say the amount of Cinnabons we see in this montage is crazy. I assume he went every single time he was closing up because it really looks like that he did a lot of this. At least 2 weeks worth at the minimum of making 2 Cinnabons, going out there and just talking to him for 3 minutes straight. After the montage, we see Gene in the store browsing the clothes inside, looking at the price tags. Honestly, when I first watched this, I thought he was looking for a suit to do the scam in, but really he's just looking at the price tag to see the most valuable things in the store. He's basically just scoping out what's inside, what's near each other, what the price tag is, basically just coming up with the plan of what he wants to do. It seems like he's trying to learn the outline of the store by counting his steps and seeing how far it is. We cut to a scene of Gene making an obstacle course that Jeff is going to complete so he can learn the outline of the store that he has to be inside. The plan is finally revealed, and the plan is to rob the store and the other stores in the mall while the security guard is eating and talking to Gene. This scene's dialogue is actually where that one teaser rips the audio from.
Go, go, go! 1, Armani suits and run! 2, Air Jordan shoes for you! 3, linen shirts for free! Let's go, let's go, let's go!
I originally thought he was going to make a chaotic situation by like being on the intercoms and saying that everything is free, and while he's doing this, he's doing something else, you know, to cause havoc in the store, and maybe he has a chance to talk to Jeff or something. But it looks like it's just the plan that Gene has set up for Jeff. Jeff questions the plan and calls it crazy. Gene then mentions Walter without even saying his name.
I'll tell you what's crazy. 50-year-old high school chemistry teacher comes into my office. The guy is so broke, he can't pay his own mortgage. 1 year later, he's got a pile of cash as big as a Volkswagen. That's crazy.
Jeff then agrees to go with the plan after hearing what Saul did to Walter, and they continue training. After training, we see who seems to be either the manager or the owner, I'm not sure, but she sees a spot on the floor and asks for Maines to clean it up. This will actually come back later and is really important to what happens. I didn't notice this at first, but on my second time watching, I actually really did appreciate the detail. She's interrupted by one of the employees stating that there is a delivery that she wasn't expecting. She's shown the invoice and confirms that the items inside are not supposed to be at the store. It's like some kind of pump. I forgot exactly what it was. It's some kind of pump. She takes the invoice and calls the number on the order to speak to the supervisor. She is then greeted by Gene and the Cinnabon closing up answering the phone. She explains the situation to him and he convinces her to keep the box there overnight, saying that the driver is in a hurry and that he will come pick it up in the morning at 10 a.m. Next, we see him do his usual routine with the cops going to the security room, but this time while he's eating, he sends a text to Jeff saying, "Go." It's then revealed that Jeff is in the box. He climbs out of the box and starts the plan. He steals everything near perfection using Gene's rhymes until the very end. Jeff is literally out cold for a solid minute while Gene keeps looking at his watch to make sure that he has enough time to get up. Time runs out and the security guard starts turning around until Gene starts fake crying, making the security guard stop and look at him. He tries to look at the security feed again and then Gene screams, "Look at me," while fake sobbing. Goes on a sob story talking about how everyone in his life is dead, which is actually pretty accurate to like the real story of his life. But honestly, it gets really depressing seeing his tone change after he mentions his brother and Kim.
My brother is dead. I got no wife.
He does this long enough for Jeff to be able to get up and complete the plan. Scam is complete. The store opens up and Jeff comes out of the bathroom where he was hiding and makes his escape through the crowd. The next scene starts with Jeff and his friends celebrating. They are then interrupted by Gene saying to enjoy the moment because he is done helping them. He lists every single crime that they committed and they could go away for, which honestly, looking through the charges, they could go away for basically the rest of their lives. But long story short, Gene's whole plan from the very beginning was to get Jeff involved to do something incredibly illegal. So the second that Jeff tries to expose him, Gene will just bring this up and report it to the police. Something that I really wanted to point out is that this scene really did give me Walter White vibes. It really seems like that Gene learned a lot from Walter.
You see me coming? You cross to the other side of the street. We're done. Say it.
Marion notices Gene's car in the driveway. She walks into the shed they're in and sees Gene and Jeff pretending to fix up a car. She invites Gene inside, and while inside, she mentions that Jeff used to be in some kind of like bad crowd or group while he was back in Albuquerque. Does explain what he did want in the game. Also says that Gene is a good influence for Jeff, which is actually like crazily ironic for how this whole situation is. She then asks about Nippy, the dog that Gene pretended to lose, and he explains that he was found nearby. And the craziest thing about this whole thing is that this is where that line from the teaser.
After all that, a happy ending.
I feel like it was always their intention to mess with us with the teasers that they dropped, because there's no way we could have guessed this is where it came from. The next scene shows Gene working at the Cinnabon in such a good mood that he completely forgets that his lunchtime has started. This really says a lot about how thrilled the scam made him feel, and goes to the exact same store that he robbed and browses through the suits. He sees a very out there suit that looks very Saul Goodman, looks at it in the mirror seeing how it would look on him, and then he puts it back on the hanger. After he puts it back on the hanger, the episode ends, and wow, what an episode. Like I said earlier, I thought it was okay just because I expected, you know, the Walter and Jesse appearance to be in this week's episode. But it turns out that I actually am really happy that it was the Gene episode. Only problem I really have with this episode is where it was placed. I feel like this maybe could have been like the second to last episode, or maybe the last episode, or maybe the first. I honestly think the first would have been good, just because the Kim line that he says really doesn't spoil anything. I feel like we kind of knew that Gene was alone just based off the fact that he disappeared completely off the face of the earth. I was really in shock that we got the full Gene episode this early though, because through halfway I was wondering, is this really gonna be a full episode, or is it gonna like cut to the other timeline at any second? Something I also want to point out is that if this was a normal 10 episode season, this really does feel like this would be the final episode of the series. When he puts the suit back on the hanger, it really feels like he's accepting who Gene is and who he has to be to survive now. It seems like he does miss the Saul Goodman persona because of like the scam he just did, but he is happy with just being Gene and able to accept it. At least that's what I interpreted from this ending. Maybe it's the complete opposite, and maybe it's showing that Gene still wants to do this. I hope you guys really did enjoy this video. I actually am working on a full series review. I'm having a little bit of trouble deciding how I want to format it. I'm thinking of doing 2 parts, season 1 through 3, and then doing 4 through 6 after. You guys think I should do it season by season? I just want to know what y'all think. Please comment in the comment section what you guys want me to do. Please comment suggestions for other shows that you want me to cover. Maybe the whole review of another series, something like that. I'm thinking of doing The Boys season 3 because I am in the process of watching that on one of my Twitch channels. If you want to watch all the things that we watch live, hit me up on Twitter or Instagram in the description. DM me asking for the Twitch account and I'll give it to you. It's actually a little bit of a secret because if we give it out to everyone, we are getting banned. But I hope you guys enjoyed this video, and I'll see y'all next time. Peace.